Hello, grade 8 students! How are you? I am Ma'am Elaine B. Paras and welcome to your video lesson for English 8. Congratulations for having successfully finished your week 3 lesson for the first quarter. Now, you are about to learn the week 4 lesson titled Using Nouns and Adverbs Appropriately. Are you ready to learn now? Grab your pen and English 8 Quarter 1 Week 4 Learning Activity Sheets. Let's get started. For this week, our learning competency is Use nouns and adverbs appropriately. Specifically, at the end of this video lesson, you will be able to determine the different functions of nouns and types of adverbs, and use nouns and adverbs in sentences and paragraphs appropriately. One of the basic concepts that you must know and understand in using the English language is the proper usage of the 8 parts of speech, especially nouns and adverbs. Some of you are having a hard time listening, speaking, reading, or writing effectively using the English language because your knowledge in the 8 parts of speech may be limited. Hence, knowing and understanding their uses may help you a lot in communicating using the English language effectively. That is why I am here today to teach you 2 of the 8 parts of speech, which are nouns and adverbs. Let us begin our discussion with nouns. A noun refers to a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. For example, Leonora is a name of a person, Philippines is a name of a place, and smartphone is the name of a thing that we use for communication. A noun may be used in a sentence in different ways. First, it may be used as a subject. When a noun is used as a subject, it performs the action of the verb and it tells you what is being talked about in the sentence. Generally, it can be found at the beginning of the sentence. Look at these examples. Number 1. Rodrigo Roa Duterte is the 16th President of the Philippines. In this sentence, who is being talked about as the 16th President of the Philippines? You are correct. He is Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Therefore, it is a noun acting as a subject because he is the one being talked about in the sentence. Number 2. Paula does her activities religiously. Who does her activities religiously? Very good. The answer is Paula. Thus, Paula acts as a subject in the sentence because she performs the action of the verb thus. Second, a noun may be used as a direct object. When a noun is used as a direct object, it receives the action of the verb in the sentence. It typically comes after the verb, and it also answers the questions what or whom. Analyze the given examples. Number 1. Jonas made a Google form for the webinar tomorrow. What did Jonas make for the webinar tomorrow? You were right. He made a Google form for the webinar tomorrow. Google form is a direct object that receives the action of the verb made done by the subject Jonas. Number 2. Laura brought me a face shield. What did Laura bring? Yes, she brought a face shield. Face shield is a direct object that receives the action of the verb brought done by the subject Laura. Third, a noun may be used as an indirect object. In this case, a noun reveals for whom or for what the action was undertaken. Study the given examples. Number 1. IATF gave Filipinos guidelines on community quarantine. The subject in this sentence is IATF and the verb is gave. What did the IATF give? The IATF gave guidelines, which is the direct object in the sentence. For whom are the guidelines given by the IATF? Exactly. These are for the Filipinos, which is the indirect object in the sentence. Number 2, Elsie bought Kendra a halo-halo. The subject in this sentence is Elsie and the verb is bought. What did Elsie buy? Very good. Elsie bought a halo-halo, which is the direct object in the sentence. For whom is the halo-halo bought by Elsie? Yes, it is for Kendra. And this is the indirect object in the sentence. Fourth, a noun may be used as object of a preposition. It is when the object comes after a preposition. When we say preposition, it is a word or group of words placed before a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase to show location, direction, place, time, spatial relationships, or to introduce an object. Some of the common prepositions that we use are in, on, at, off, to, above, under, and behind. Analyze the given examples below. Number 1. Lucas goes to San Sebastian Cathedral Parish every Sunday. In this sentence, can you spot where the subject and verb are? You got it right. The subject is Lucas and the verb is goes. Now, can you identify the preposition in this sentence? Alright, the preposition is to. Then, what is the object of the preposition? Exactly, it is San Sebastian Cathedral Parish. Where does Lucas go every Sunday? Lucas goes to San Sebastian Cathedral Parish every Sunday. Number 2. The dog is hiding under the table. Now, can you identify the subject and the verb in this sentence? Very good. The subject is the dog and the verb is hiding. What about the preposition and its object? Exactly. The preposition is under and its object is table. Where is the dog hiding? The dog is hiding under the table. Moreover, a positive is a noun or phrase preceded by another noun, and it identifies or gives more information about that word. Look at the examples below. Number 1, Dinor Magtolis Briones, the Secretary of DepEd, has announced that our class opening will be moved on October 5, 2020. Apparently, the noun Dinor Magtolis Briones is the subject in the sentence. As you notice, after the subject, we have the Secretary of DepEd separated by 2 commas. This is what we call an appositive, because it is a noun phrase that gives more information about Dinor Magtolis Briones, meaning Dinor Magtolis Briones is the Secretary of DepEd. Number 2, Severino Reyes, a Filipino playwright, wrote Walang Sugat. In this example, the noun Severino Reyes is the subject, and the noun phrase a Filipino playwright, which is separated by 2 commas, is an appositive because it gives more information about who Severino Reyes is. In short, Severino Reyes is a Filipino playwright who wrote Walang Sugat. Additionally, since a positive only gives more information about the noun before it, we can remove it without changing the meaning of the whole sentence. Sixth, a noun may be used as a subject complement. It is used to rename the subject, and it is usually found after a linking verb. Here are the examples of linking verbs: am, is, are, was, and were. Now, examine the examples below. Number 1, my father is a frontliner. In this sentence, we have 2 nouns, father and frontliner. We are talking about the father in the sentence, therefore it is the subject. As you can see, frontliner renames the subject father and it is linked by the linking verb is. As a result, frontliner is a subject complement. Who is being pertained as the frontliner? The answer is my father. Number 2. Carla was my colleague. What are the two nouns in the sentence? Very good. Carla and colleague are the two nouns in the sentence. What is the subject? Yes, the subject is Carla because she is the one being talked about in the sentence. And colleague is the subject complement because it renames the subject Carla and it is linked by the linking verb was. Who was my colleague? The answer is Carla. Finally, a noun may also be used as an object complement. It completes the meaning and follows the direct object in the sentence. Analyze the examples below. Number 1. Christina painted her room pink. Christina, room, and pink are the nouns in the sentence. Can you categorize them all? Alright, Christina is the subject in the sentence. Room is the direct object because it receives the action of the verb painted. And it answers the question, what did Christina paint? The answer is Christina painted her room. Lastly, pink is the object complement because it completes the information about her room. Number 2, Ella named her daughter Wendy. As you can see, we have three nouns in this sentence: Ella, daughter, and Wendy. Ella is the subject who performed the action of the verb name. Daughter is the direct object who receives the action of the verb, and Wendy is the object complement that completes the information about the daughter. It tells us that the name given to the daughter is Wendy. Those are the different functions of noun. Again, a noun may be used in a sentence as subject, direct object, indirect object, object of a preposition, appositive, subject complement, and object complement. Now, let us proceed with adverbs. Adverbs modify a verb, adjective, and other adverbs in the sentence. For example, Annabelle is really excited about her new laptop. Really is the adverb in the sentence because it modifies the adjective excited. It shows us how excited Annabelle is about her new laptop. Furthermore, most adverbs are derived from adjectives, and the suffix ly is added to the word. For instance, the word silently is derived from the adjective silent. Another example, the adverb gracefully is derived from the adjective graceful. There are 5 common types of adverbs. The first one is adverbs of manner. These tell how an action is done. These are written after the verb and after the object, if any. However, some adverbs ending in ly may be written before the verb when there are other verb modifiers in the sentence. Here are some examples of adverbs of manner. Let's study the following sentences. Number 1, Maria went home immediately when her dad called her. Immediately is the adverb in the sentence. It modifies the verb went because it tells us how Maria went home when her dad called her. How did Maria go home when her dad called her? Very good. She went home immediately. Number 2, Ben spoke softly. In this sentence, softly is the adverb and it modifies the verb spoke because it tells us how Ben spoke. How did Ben speak? Alright, he spoke softly. Second, adverbs of place. These tell where an action happens. These are usually written after the verb and after the object, if any. Here are the common examples of adverbs of place. Let's examine the following sentences. Number 1. Brian went inside his room. The adverb in the sentence is inside. It modifies the verb went, for it shows us where Brian went. Where did Brian go? Very good. He went inside his room. Number 2. I saw Margarita there. In this example, the adverb is there and it modifies the verb saw. It tells you where I saw Margarita. Where did I see her? Very good. I saw her there. Moving on, we also have the adverbs of time. These tell when an action happens. These are regularly written after the verb and after the object, if any. These are some examples of adverbs of time. Let's look at the following sentences. Number 1. Sheila visits her grandmother weekly. Can you identify the adverb in the sentence? Exactly. The adverb in the sentence is weekly. What does it modify? Good. It modifies the verb visits. When does Sheila visit her grandmother? Sheila visits her grandmother weekly. Number 2. I bought a box of face masks yesterday. The adverb is yesterday and the verb it modifies is bought. This tells us when I bought a box of face masks. When did I buy a box of face masks? Yes, I bought a box of face masks yesterday. We also have the adverbs of degree. These tell to what degree or to what extent an action happens. These are usually written before the word they modify. What you see on your screen are some examples of adverbs of degree. Let's study the following sentences. Number 1. Dennis was almost late in his webinar. The adverb almost modifies the adjective late, and it tells us to what extent Dennis was late in his webinar. Number 2. Lara is totally prepared for her birthday. The adverb totally modifies the adjective prepared, and it shows us how well Lara is prepared for her birthday. Finally, we have sentence adverbs. These adverbs tell something about the whole sentence rather than about a word in the sentence. Here are the different sentence adverbs that we can use. Look at the following examples. 1. Luckily, the examination was moved next week. The sentence adverb is luckily, and as you observe, it is placed at the beginning of the sentence and is separated by a comma. It doesn't modify a word in the sentence like the adverbs we discussed above, but it tells us something about the attitude of the speaker to the given situation. Meaning, the speaker feels lucky that the examination was moved next week. Number 2, hopefully, the low-pressure area will not enter the Philippine area of responsibility. In this example, the sentence adverb is hopefully. It is still placed at the beginning of the sentence and is separated by a comma. And it tells us something about the attitude of the speaker to the given situation. Meaning, the speaker is hoping that the low-pressure area will not enter the Philippine area of responsibility. Those are the 5 common types of adverbs. Again, we have the adverb of manner, adverb of place, adverb of time, adverb of degree, and sentence adverb. Alright, we are done now with the discussion. Do you have any questions? How do you find the lesson so far? In the event there are unclear ideas, you can go back from the beginning of our video lesson. If everything is good now, we can start answering the activities. Let's go! It's activity time! Turn your learning activity sheets on pages 2 to 5. Before we start answering your activities, here are the general directions. Read carefully the directions indicated in the following exercises. Then, provide what is needed or asked in each item. As you can see, your activities are divided into two. For test 1, you will answer activities about nouns. On the other hand, for test 2, you will answer activities about adverbs. In each test, there are 3 activities. For activities A and B, we will take the first item and try to explain why it is the answer. Then you will do the succeeding ones on your own. For activity C, we will read the situation, then you will answer the following question. Are you ready to answer your activities? Let's begin. For test 1, activity A found on pages 2 to 3, you must identify the function of the underlined noun in each sentence by choosing the correct answer from the choices in the box below. Write your answer on the blank before each number. Number 1. Stephanie watches Korean drama every night. What do you think is the function of the underlined noun Stephanie in the sentence? The correct answer is subject, because Stephanie performs the action of the verb watches. Who watches Korean drama every night? It is Stephanie. Alright, now try to do the succeeding items on your own. For test 1, activity B found on pages 3 to 4, you will write a sentence using the following nouns based on the function given. Let us take the first item. The noun is Santo Cristo Integrated School and the function given is a subject. Here is a possible answer. Santo Cristo Integrated School is located at Juan Luna Street, Barangay Santo Cristo, Tarlac City. As you can see, Santo Cristo Integrated School is used as a noun because it is being talked about in the sentence. Now, try to answer the other items. Lastly, for test 1 activity C found on page 4, the given situation is: we are indeed in a difficult situation today, wherein a lot of people are affected by COVID-19. A lot of things have changed since we can hardly go back to the normal life we had before. We cannot even go out of our house as easily as before because there are policies that we need to obey. So most of our time is spent at home with our family. With this, what are your realizations about this time of pandemic? So that is the question that you will answer on this activity. You will write a 5-sentence paragraph about it using different nouns appropriately. Then do not forget to encircle the nouns used. Moreover, the criteria for grading is already given below, so you are well guided on how you will be graded in this activity. We have content for 4 points, correct usage of nouns for 4 points, and organization for 2 points. Good luck! I know you can make it. This time, let us answer the activities about adverbs. Let's begin with test 2 activity A found on pages 4 to 5. In here, you must complete the following sentences by choosing the appropriate adverb inside the parentheses. Write your answer on the blank provided. Let us take the first item. Number 1. Tracy is a good daughter. She blank listens to her parents. Which do you think is the correct answer? Is it always or never? The correct answer is always. Very good. Since Trina is a good daughter, she always listens to her parents. At this point, try to answer the succeeding items on your own. Next, for test 2 activity B found on page 5, you will use each of the following adverbs in a sentence appropriately. Let us try to answer number 1. The given adverb is carefully. Here is a possible answer. Christy handled the box carefully. The adverb carefully modifies the verb handled because it tells us how Christy handled the box. How did Christy handle the box? She handled the box carefully. Very good. Now, it is your turn to answer the succeeding items. Alright, we are now down to our last activity for this lesson. For Test 2 Activity C, found on page 5, think of one of the happiest moments in your life. Write a 5-sentence paragraph about it using different adverbs appropriately. Then, do not forget to encircle the adverbs used. The criteria for grading is also given below. Content for 4 points, correct usage of adverbs for 4 points, and organization for 2 points. In case you find it difficult to answer the activities, you can go back to the start of this video lesson and review the discussion. Good luck, and may you do your best in accomplishing this task. It's reflection time! Now, let us see how well you reflect on the lesson you have studied. Turn your learning activity sheets on page 6. Number 1, put a check mark in the box which corresponds to how well you learned the lesson. For example, on the first item, I learned how to distinguish the different functions of nouns. If you strongly agree with that statement, put a check mark on strongly agree. If you think you are still having a little hard time distinguishing the different functions of nouns, put a check mark on moderately agree. Lastly, if you think you are really having a hard time distinguishing the different functions of nouns, put a check mark on disagree. You will do the same on the next items, and please answer each item honestly. Number 2, how can these concepts help you in communicating using the English language effectively? Do not be afraid to answer because there is no wrong answer in this reflective question. Okay? Let us also pay attention on the list of sources used in completion of this lesson. Congratulations! You have successfully finished our lesson for this week. In this learning activity sheets, you were able to determine the different functions of nouns and types of adverbs. And I am glad that you were able to use them in sentences and paragraphs appropriately. By this time, I hope that you can apply whatever lessons you've learned in communicating using the English language effectively. Also, do not forget these learnings, for you can